Thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to get started here in about 2 or 3 minutes. So if you want to go grab a coffee or something and kick back and relax for a couple, we're going to get going here right away. Thanks for coming in. I'm just going to put you on mute here for a few minutes while I get things set up. Thanks. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us. We're going to get rolling here right about now. Just give me a quick thumbs up and let me know that you can hear me. Just type yes into the chat, or a Y or something there, just into the chat real quick. And just let me know that I've got some good sound here, and we're going to get rolling and dive into the markets here right now. We had quite an interesting day develop, and Marcus, sound and video good. Awesome. Thanks, my man. Appreciate that. Okay, so just put this on mute here. Okay. So we're going to have a quick look at the dollar index. Now, depending on what forum you were talking to, and there's been a lot of sentiment of dollar index going up. I believe ultimately it probably will go up. It has seen a nice rally here. But again, we have been chopping straight sideways for the past little while. Pretty tough to deny that the dollar index has been in a range, and I'll just actually put the line here in kind of the bottom of these bodies here. So price has, obviously we know where we've come from. Price, and maybe I'll just actually start on kind of a wider bird's eye view of what the dollar index is doing. You can see here, and I kind of want to draw your attention from, you see this high up here. So price created this high up here way back in 2001 and has since traded softer, and finally bottoming out in January of 2008, right about where the whole financial industry pretty much imploded is pretty much when it hit the lows. So from there, what I want to draw your attention to is this range right here. And I'm just kind of giving you a bird's eye view just to kind of explain sort of where we're at. I mean, this really isn't necessarily super relevant to where we're at, but I just kind of want to give you an idea. This has been trading in a consolidation range right here. It's a big consolidation, of course. This is obviously a much tighter one, but this is a big consolidation area. It finally decided that it had enough of this and traded out from this consolidation area. Now, here's the thing. Typically, price will trade from consolidation to consolidation, okay? I've discussed that before. We all know that, and it's not a big secret. So price is traded out of here. It exploded up, and it sort of started to trade a little bit softer and then exploded up one more time, taking out these relatively equal highs in here, and just basically bottomed out right at this candle here, almost at the low, catching the low there. Didn't quite make it. And so it for the most part, I would say traded up to this area here. I think there is still a little bit of room for it to go higher, and even up into here, but that's neither here nor there. We're down here right now. Price is all the way up here, and once price breaks basically this level in here, right, then we'll start worrying about areas up here and where we can go higher from there. But what I'm trying to draw your attention to is typically when price explodes out of a consolidation area like it did right here in this area, price typically will come back and it will retest the highs of the previous consolidation area. And that's basically exactly what it's done right in here. Now, I bring this up because there is an area lower, and I'll just slide this over, right down in here, where I think, you see this much tighter consolidation range in here? This is where they were really working and manipulating price. Again, it's still a big range. I mean, it's a couple hundred pip range, so it's not like it's a 30 pip range. I mean, it's 500 pips. But I think down into this area here, I think there's a much larger draw on price than necessarily up here. So if that is true, we could see lower prices for a little bit, a little bit further in the U.S. dollar. Now again, I've been saying this quite a bit for the past little while. The U.S. Fed has been driving up interest rates, and it typically does strengthen the dollar. Trump's been getting on the loudspeaker, and he's been yapping about how he needs the dollar to get stronger, etc., etc., etc. However, I think for the short term, we could be going a bit lower on the dollar, and I think there's some areas right in here Like I say, the highs of these candles right in here, I think that could be an area where price may want to reach down to, and I would even suggest maybe even more so down into this area right in here, just really touching back off of the highs of the tops of those candles there. I think that's where we could see price going. Before we get down there, we may see a little bit more upside. I don't know, and this is where I'm drawing into kind of our current time frame here. So if we have a reason to believe that the market may want to go lower, ultimately to eventually get higher, maybe this is it. Okay, again, it hit these consolidation highs in here, the larger range. That could be enough for it to drive price back up. I don't know. We could see price going a little bit lower, but let's drive down to the weekly. And you can see here, I've been talking about this small consolidation area here. This is where price really has been thinking about trying to go lower or go higher. Okay, right at this area, I'm right in here. And I'll just draw a line off of, it's basically sitting right in the middle of this, right at the equilibrium of that price consolidation range. There is another level. The next level would be obviously down here, the top of this consolidation range that would go if this area closed. If one of these candles finally closes below the mean threshold of this area in here, then we will go lower. Okay. So if you go out though, again, it still brings us into sort of an area, a bit of a liquidity void here that I think price could see a downside towards. Now, typically what happens as well too is price typically has a couple of symmetrical price swings before price reverses. So if you have a symmetrical swing from this high to this low, and then this high to this low, again, it starts to bring us back into this area down in here. Okay, and then there's one last thing here I want to bring up. It's basically this guy here, the Fibonacci. Typically, you see price reversals anywhere between 72% to 79% retracement level. And again, that sort of lines up as well too. So I'm not saying we're going down there tomorrow. I'm not saying we're going down there at all. But there is a significant draw on price, I believe, lower. Now, what I was hoping for, and this is now where we're getting to here, the meat and potatoes of where we're at. There was a draw higher, I think, before it can continue lower, and I wanted to see that high come in up around here. Not just price come in and pop its head up, and poke above and grab the stops and run lower. I kind of wanted to see price close above here and get more so up into the bottom of this consolidation area. But you can see price almost tagged off of this low over here. So I think there is a little bit more room for it to go higher. So short term, I think these levels in here are going to get hit. And if this level, this 90-50 level, I was just talking about this with somebody on Twitter earlier today. I think if this 90-50 level right here gives way, then we will see prices above 90-90 here, which is pretty much what this line is. The high of this candle actually comes in at 90.86. So I'll drop this down just so we're clear. If it does get higher than that, then I think we will poke our head up one more time here and take a run into these candles here, and that could be the catalyst to drop it. But I do think it is going to go lower long term. There's just a lot of strong draw down there. But again, like I say, with Trump yapping and with the Fed's tightening interest rates and everything, there is a lot of reasons for it to go higher. And the problem that we've got right now is that we're sitting in the middle of the consolidation range. Okay, so price is chopping straight sideways, and it's pretty tough to accurately gauge high probability trades off of this. All you can go is from day to day, and right now price, if you look at this, price is trading right in the middle of this range. Look at this, see, right at the 50% level of this range. So really, when it's right here, when it starts to stretch out into these regions in here and here and up here, you can start to say with some high degree of probability that, yeah, we'll probably see a bounce at these levels, so let's get short or let's get long or whatever. But it's right here at the 50% retracement level, or sorry, 50% level of this move. It's a little bit tougher to judge where price is going to go. So to be honest with you, the price action yesterday was a little bit surprising. I thought we were going to go much higher. I thought we were going to dip down. We were going to touch off of this high candle here, and we ended up driving even lower and now it ended up closing slightly up, and it's just sort of sitting there now. So it's kind of one of those things that it's sort of in limbo. It's 50-50. It could go up, it could go down. I kind of think that seems how it's been sliding all week, and we do have one more day tomorrow. We could see one more push down, and I'd like to see this low taken here. And basically what I want to see is if price is willing to just kind of stab down, reject, and then run higher. If it stabs down and it doesn't close lower than here, then I think there's a very good chance that next week we could see higher prices. Again, it would fall into line with this whole area of trading in a consolidation, where once it starts to stretch out from the 50% level and gets to the areas of, you can call it overbought and oversold levels, I guess it's an indicator in RSI, you'd be getting to oversold levels down here where you could start buying it, expecting the price to bounce. And again, you'd be right more often than you'd be wrong, because price is still trading in this consolidation range. And once it convincingly breaks out of this range here and closes higher or lower, and it's more so like this range right here, then you may be wrong once, but you've only going to be wrong once, but you could be right a whole bunch of times while it's sitting here chopping. So that's all we're looking for. This was easy to see that price was going to drop down last week, and we got several trades in last week, and now it's just kind of been meandering sideways. These aren't very big daily candles either, so we're expecting, one of these days price to either get down here and to snap back up, or to run back up here and then snap back down. So once it does that, we can take high probability trades. But until then, we just kind of have to, use the force a little bit and try to gauge where we can go next with this limited amount of information that we've got. So I've got a couple of levels marked out on the chart. I'm just going to drive down to the hourly so you can see. Price, this was today's trading. This was Wednesday's trading. We're now into Thursday's trading right here. You can see here it really wasn't much of anything today. Price almost closed. You know what? I think it might have. No, it didn't. I was going to say price closed where it opened. It didn't. It was you can see this candle, how it basically gapped open and gapped down and then ran up, whipped through the highs here, and then it actually traded up here. So it did trade up higher a little bit, and you can see that on the daily candle here. You can see Wednesday's trading, it was a bit of an up candle, but not very much. So it was kind of ugly trading, to be honest with you. Price just traded off softer in the day, and now we're just sitting sideways. So if price can get above this high here, I think then we'd have a very good chance to run up to this 89.90 level. But I would be looking for price to reject somewhere up in this level here if it does want to get there. If price starts to steamroll up, it surpasses this level in here, and it gets above this high here, then we'll be looking up into the 90.50 range, because I think there is a big draw right over here, right in this area here where there's a ton of stops residing that they could be coming for. But that may not happen until later on, because you can see here in terms of where's all the liquidity. So if you think about it, there was liquidity here, and there was liquidity right here, and what's happened since then, right? Price built up liquidity under here in the form of sell stops. They ran price up, came back down, grabbed all of that, then ran price up higher. And where's all the stops after they ran the price down lower? All right up here, and they came down slightly and rammed it up and grabbed all the liquidity. And again, now we're sitting sideways. So now where's all the liquidity? Well, there's obviously a bunch. There was a bunch right under here, right? Now it's all sitting right here, and it's all now sitting, whoops, basically right here, and more specifically, right here, especially after the trading that has ensued on Wednesday. There's a bunch sitting right here. So that's why I have those areas marked out, and that's what we'll look for. If price trades softer, so if we start going down and trading softer, if it fails to make any significant highs, and I would want to see this level here breached, and I think if this one breaches here convincingly and closes higher, then we could be seeing an up day for Thursday today. But if not, then I believe Price will be looking to break these lows, almost relatively equal lows right here. I think that could be the draw on price, so we could see price lower. And you look at it as well too. Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday's trading. So if this is the weekly range here, we are on a down close week. More than likely, what they're going to do is come down here and try and scoop the liquidity up. So Thursday, we could post a very nice down day on Thursday. Today, and even into Friday, price could poke its head down and just grab the stops and then reject higher. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at. I'm sorry it took me so long to get there, but that's, you know, when you're trying to analyze a market that's going straight sideways, which, you know, not necessarily in here because these are fairly large consolidation range, but more so like in here, right? Good luck trying to guess where price is going right there. I mean, that was a very long, that was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost a year-long, very tight consolidation range in here. And now look where we are at right now, okay? And, you know, you see here, again, price is starting to sit in that real tight consolidation range. But the good news is, once price breaks out of these tight it's almost like a spring. You know, you see a large spring start to coil up and start to tighten and tighten and tighten and tighten, and eventually the spring releases and you see some massive action happening, a reaction to the coiling of the spring, basically. And that's exactly what you saw right here in this movement. So that's what I'm anticipating. The longer they keep consolidating this and the longer they keep tightening that spring, so to speak, the bigger the reaction is going to be. And once they start to move, it's very hard to hide, you know, where price is going to go. Once price starts, it starts to launch and you're off to the races. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm suggesting with that. I think the longer they keep it in here, I think the more of the bigger move we're going to get. But unfortunately, we're not there yet. So we have to trade with what we're given, and this is what we're given. Areas down here and areas above, and it's 50-50 right now, like I say. So with that being said, sorry that, again, that took so long to explain the US dollar, but we get all of our bias from the US dollar for the major currency pairs that we trade. And also, just for all you retail traders out there, this is also forming a bit of a wedge pattern as well, too. Not that I trade this at all. But typically we'll see a breakout to the downside with these types of patterns. They will sink down here. Everybody's thinking this is resistance. I'm sorry, support down here, support. It's drawing down and then it fires up. Typically these things break out to the downside, and we'll probably end up taking. I mean, if you know, if someone asked me and I had to make a decision, I'd say it'd be more likely that they would take price down here before they brought it up here, and the only reason is because there's less range to travel. So if you've got to take stops, if you're a market maker and you've got to take stops, where's the easier place to take those stops? Are you taking the sell stops or are you taking the buy stops? You're obviously going to want to take it down here because there's a range of, you know, call it 70 pips there, or a range of 30 pips there. So it's, to me, my, you know, again, if I had to make a decision, I'd say it'd be to the downside. But you got to look as well too. I mean, you know, they just barely ran the stops under here and then rejected. So there is a reason for it to go up as well too. Anyway, going forward, we've had a nice slide down on the Euro USD. I'm sorry, this is not the Euro USD. The Euro GBP. And if we see continued downward action on the Euro GBP, it's going to draw the US dollar. Sorry, guys. The Euro USD down. Okay, so I've got some levels that I was looking at here on the chart. But you can see with that slide in the dollar, it has pushed the Euro USD higher, and there are a couple of levels above here. These two equal highs kind of pop out in my mind that could be taken first if we see downward movement on the US dollar. I think those would be a very good target for this week. I can't get my trend lines. great again, nothing new. And it would put us back up into here, and if we get a big enough run, we could even challenge the highs up here. I was hoping that this week would have sent this lower, but what they may be doing, because we're getting so late in the week, what we could be doing is we could have a decent update today on Thursday, and then Friday's trading just sort of trades softer, and then next week we could trade south from there. I don't know, but I don't think they're going to run up and take these highs out quite yet. I think they've still got to get some stuff, some of the liquidity down below before they can start ramming this thing higher. And again, this is the same idea as the U.S. dollar index. We're in a consolidation range. Okay, price is trading pretty well straight sideways within this range here. So if price gets up into here, I'll be looking to sell it, and if price comes down into this range, I'll be looking to buy it. It's that simple until the price significantly breaks out of this range. That's the trade that I'm looking for. And you know, that's how you trade in consolidation. But again, as just like the US dollar, right? Look where we're at. We're pretty much right at that 50%, a little bit higher than the 50% range of this. So that's kind of why I'm leading to believe that they just took the stops below, and there is liquidity resting higher. So I think that could be the next move higher. And again, this is the week. This was Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday's trading. It opened up higher. Unless we have a Wednesday reversal, we're going to find out here very quickly if price wants to trade any higher from here. And if it does, then I think we're going to start to take out these highs. So never mind these here. This was just something I was studying. I'll get rid of these so it doesn't distract you too much. But these are sort of the price levels that I've got. I'll just mark it out on the chart here, and you know, you can do this yourself. I mean, this isn't rocket science by any imagination of what I'm doing right here. I'm just picking out the lows and the highs, and these are the targets. That's really about it. And price is consolidating very, very tightly right now. We traded higher, and this was a really sloppy day on Wednesday's trading. You can see Tuesday traded nice and high, and then Wednesday it kind of double topped and then started to trade softer, back down to the small consolidation range here, tagged off of it, and we've just been slowly trading higher. So that's kind of why I think we're going to continue to run higher on the euro. But just real quick, look at the news. Okay, so after we kind of get a bit of a bias, we then look at the news drivers, and you can see there's a ton of, there's 3 medium impact news events that will affect the Euro USD, but they don't happen until 8:30 a.m. New York time. So unfortunately, I don't see a lot of action happening until that 8:30 time. So we may see price on the euro trade a bit sideways. It may be a little bit weak, but I think once we start leading up to that news event, you'll start to see price start to run a little bit quicker, a little bit higher, a little bit lower, get a little more volatility into it, and then we'll start to you know, either trace up to where we're going or reverse back down here. So that's kind of the analysis I'm looking at here. But again, I think it's going to trade higher. I thought it was going to trade higher on Wednesday, and we actually put a signal out at 123.85, and we got stopped out on it. It is what it is. Price wanted to come down, trade softer. It was a really ugly day. Price really pushed it around, and you can see right here, like this was that first Draghi event that came in at 4:30 in the morning, New York time, went Tuesday morning, and it smashed price up and then ripped it down. And then it just went sideways and then smashed up one more time once the U.S. news hit, and then drove it back down. Really, really ugly trading day today. There was not a lot of fluidity or continuity to it. It was just kind of all over the place. And then price finished, you know, 20 pips lower than what it opened up at. So not a very convincing day to me, but I do believe that we will probably see prices higher just because they came down right down to here, into this kind of brief consolidation area down here off the highs, and they didn't show any willingness to continue. Okay. So what will change this is if this low right here, you see these relatively equal lows right there, if that gets traded through then I think we'll go lower. So you can kind of mark that on your charts. I know that's a little far away from where it currently is. You know, call it 23.65. But if that gets traded through, they could trade down to there. I don't necessarily think they're going to get down there. I'd be honestly surprised if this level here gets traded through. They could, you know, for sure. There definitely is a little bit of liquidity under here, but they would have. So what I'm driving at here is I think there's a very small consolidation range right in here. I'll just mark this on the chart here for you. That they worked price after the day closed. And I think there's a good chance that they could trade back down to this again, tag off on it, but they did that right here. You see this candle over here? There's a little bit of movement throughout the Asian session. They came down, they tagged off of it, and then traded up and traded off of this range here, and then traded higher into the lows of this small consolidation area here. So I think what they may want to do is drop it down one more time. If they are going to run it higher and then snap it higher, or they could just start running higher right from here. So it's kind of one of those things. If they do run it higher from here, you just have to wait for the retrace back down to this small consolidation area right here, and then you could get in for a long position. Right, so it just kind of depends. One of two things. So we'll just have to watch price. Again, if you are a member of our website, then you will get the signals coming out. If you can't be in front of the charts to watch them, I'll fill you in and let you know if that ever does come to fruition. But I honestly don't think there's going to be a lot happening during the London Open session till about 5:30 a.m. New York time. And then that's, I'm sorry, 7:30 a.m. New York time, and then that's when we'll probably see price really starting to move towards those news events. Pound dollar, same type of idea, slightly different. This one here has been on a nice rip higher. And if you were a retail trader, this is why I don't go off these trend lines, right? You see that? Just a nice trend line following. And then what happened here, right? You would have got smashed. Yeah, you would have been right 1, 2, 3 times in here, but you know, these, I don't rely on these at all for my trading. I don't go off of those levels for a number of reasons, but that being one of them, because they're too easy to break. So anyway, I think the pound dollar, if we do get a weaker US dollar, it will drive this higher. It should drive it higher. But the pairs aren't necessarily really trending the way that they should be. They're a little off correlation. And what I mean by that is typically you see if the US dollar is going down, the Euro USD, the Pound USD, the you know, anything with the USD in the last as the last option in the currency basket, it will trade in the opposite direction of the US dollar. Okay, and then if you got something like the US CAD or the US yen, those will trade in tandem. So if the US dollar is going up, that will go up, right? But you can see here the US dollar, like this is the US CAD, the US dollar has been going down. Look what the CAD's been doing. It's just been going straight up. It's hitting some resistance levels in here, obviously, so I think we could trade a little bit softer on this one, starting on the day. Like, look, this was the day that they posted on Wednesday's trading. Look at the day that the US dollar posted. Right, that was an up day. That was Wednesday, that was an up day. Look at the US CAD. That was a down day, right? So, kind of one of those things. We'll wait and see what happens. I think price could trade a little bit weaker, but I'd be surprised if they got much weaker than this level right here, this 128.90 level. I think they're going to want to try and trade this thing higher to try and get up into this area up in here. Back to the pound dollar, though, I think this area, if we do see continued weakness on the USD, I think this 140.70 level will be the target for the end of the week, which is a nice range from here. I mean, if we see a nice strong up day, you know, that's a nice 80 pips plus. I mean, if they take this one, then this high here may be suspect as well too. But they've been driving this thing up very, very nicely. I'm going to drive down to a 1 hour chart here and see they, again, really messy, ugly trading on Wednesday. kind of like a stop hunting day where, you know, they ran it up, slammed it down, ran it up, slammed it down, ran it up, and then they finished basically right where they started on the day. But it's been trading very, very strong throughout the Asian session, pre-London Open. So if you look over here, we got relatively equal highs up in here. Very close anyway. Let me just try and get a straight line here. Holy Jesus. What you got to watch, because price has been so strong here, is if they just want to pop up and take the stops and then drop back down. If price closes higher, so if we get a candle that closes higher above this level right here, so I would even say 1400. If we get a candle that closes up around this range right here, and closes higher, close above these highs here, and that candle is a big bull green candle and it closes higher, then what I would suggest you do is you wait for price to do this. Run up, close higher, retest this level here, or even the 1.4000 big figure, and then this is your entry right here. That's what I'd be looking for on the Euro GBP, because there is the possibility that price literally just does this. It just pops straight up, wicks, like kind of like this right here, and then drops back down. So we've got to be very, very cognizant and careful about that. So we want to have this close above this range here. But I think they will eventually take it up there. They're doing a good job of it right now, like I say. This is the 15-minute chart, and that price is only a few pips away. Only 8 to 10 pips away. That 1400 big figure level is only 40 pips. What are we here? 12, 13, about 15 pips away from where we currently are right now. So it's not too far away. So I think this is obviously, this is where they're going to take it. Now the other thing too that they may do is they may just fall short of it and act like this is a big resistance level that's having a hard time going through, and then dump it back down. And if they do dump it down, keep in mind that this level right here, if I can grab this trend line, come on, let me get that. No, let me get it. There's a tiny consolidation area in here, but keep in mind, if they do reject and price fails to go through that line I've got up here, this line right here, and basically just bumps its head up and it doesn't take these highs out or do anything like that, then they may want to drop it down and pick up some of the liquidity under here, and I would look for a bounce at this level right here. So that comes in at 139.55, 139.55 to 139.60, somewhere in around that area there. So just watch for that. I don't think we're going to go any lower. So like I don't think this low here is going to get hit. And again, only because this is the week. That's Wednesdays, Tuesdays, Mondays trading. I think if this was going to be a Wednesday reversal market profile, I think price wouldn't have traded back up into here again. So I think we're going to smash through this, and that's why I think we're going to go higher. But just keep in mind, they could knock this level right up in here one more time, sink it lower about 40 pips, 30 to 40 pips, tag off just under here to grab up some liquidity, and then rocket the price. Unfortunately, if I had known, and sometimes it does it, right? Sometimes those Asian sessions, they just start ripping, and you have a hard time. You can't catch up to them. It's been going for about 25 pips now. You know, there would have been some argument to maybe get long right here, and then you could have rid that up. However, you know, maybe even Well, we'll watch this. I'm going to be on here. I'm not going to be on terribly late this evening. I'm going to probably wrap this up in about 20 minutes or so. But we'll see what price wants to do right here. If it wants to come back down to this 139.75 level right in here, maybe we could even look at getting long in there. And then, but the stop would have to be under here, obviously, and then the target would be, I'll tell you exactly what our target's going to be. This would be the target on the day, 140.70. That would be where we'd be looking for price to expand up to in here. And the reason why, again, I'm thinking that is price comes down, or sorry, price runs up, consolidation area, comes back down, grabs liquidity, flies through that area, next area of consolidation, runs back down, touches off the top of the old previous consolidation level, and then runs higher. And that's how you trade, from consolidation to consolidation. Once it touches off of it, that's your catalyst. You get long, and you watch price rip. So that's you know, again, I'm hoping price doesn't run up too high in here if it pushes through. So that's why I'm suggesting maybe if there's a chance, if price wants to come down below here, then we'll be looking for the lows under here, and if it wants to come under there, then we'll be looking. This would be the absolute line in the sand, pretty much. I wouldn't want to see price come any lower than there. But I think that this could be a good area. And let me just look again here at the hourly. Yeah, and that's kind of right in around there. So to be honest with you, if price wants to retrace and come back down to this 139.75 level, right around in there somewhere, that could be a catalyst to get long. So, you know, it may not get that low. It may even just tag, you know. So you kind of got to watch price a little bit, but we'll watch that here. I'll be, like I say, I'll be on for about another 20 minutes here, and then we'll see how that kind of pans out. There's nothing in UJ I want to talk about here, although I think we're going to probably see prices go lower again. I called 105.50 level getting hit, tagged that nicely, traded higher, retraced, and just a healthy retracement higher up into here. Reject, 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 lower, and I think we're now going to take out this 105.50 level again and trade lower on the day. But this hasn't necessarily been my favorite pair to trade. This was a really ugly trading day right in here yesterday. Again, trading was not great on Wednesday. It was really ugly across all the major pairs. Just really, really choppy and ugly. So, but you see these equal lows over here. That's where I think we're heading next, right there. And that's, again, that 105.50 level, I think is going to get tagged and traded right through this time. Right there. That's where I think the price is going to go. What would negate that is if price traded higher than wanted to trade higher than 106, basically the lows of these candles in here, if price traded higher than that, I would even say maybe 106.20. Yeah, that's probably even too high. If price got up to here, that'd be very, very suspect. But we could see price just kind of run a little bit higher, and then I'd be very interested in seeing what happens right at this level right here, 106.15 level, if it even gets there. See how the candle tagged off of these two tweezer bottoms over here. That could be it on the upside, retracement wise. We could be trading down again, same type of idea. Right, we price opened up. This was Monday's trading. Price traded down. Tuesday created the high of the week. Wednesday traded softer. Thursday, I think we're going to trade softer, and I think we're going to get under here. And then Friday, I mean, who knows where we're going to finish up on Friday, but we could even take out these lows on Friday. But that's kind of what I'm thinking for UJ. I don't really want to discuss this too much because it's not my pair. I don't really trade this very much, but if you guys are a UJ trader, that could be something that you could look at for sure. Like I say, if price gets higher than this consolidation area right here, Don't, you know, just watch it. You know, you can see when price starts to do this and starts to, you know, wick and kind of almost hit that resistance point. It's not going any higher, and then it starts to fall off. You could try a small short in there and then target this level down here, this 105 50 level. That would be sort of my suggestion, and that would be a nice trade. Let's say you got short. Well, let's say you even got short there. I mean, that's a nice 50 pip trade, right from where it's at. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that for a daily range. But like I say, watch this one. It could trade a little bit higher, but I would expect to see softer prices. Now, again, that is going to come in the same theory, because the U.S. dollar is the front pair in the U.S. yen, right? So if we do see weaker prices on the U.S. dollar here, and it does trade lower and start to challenge these lows here, then we will see the U.S. yen start to trade softer as well too. Okay. I don't want to talk about Aussie. Bitcoin. Anybody trading Bitcoin? The past week? What a ride that thing's been on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive down days in the past 8 trading days. For the past 2 weeks, it has been straight south. Basically, since the 6th of March, which was last Tuesday. It's been going straight down. Failed to make a new high up here, and price has been trading softer ever since. So here's the thing about that. If price gets lower than this 75, you know, let's call it 75. Let's see where that takes us. Yeah, right about there. If price trades lower than 7,500, then I believe it will trade lower under these lows here. Yeah, if you're a long holder of Bitcoin, you may want to hedge your bets now. Get out, or I mean, hopefully you're not long up in here. But yeah, I think we are going to be going lower on Bitcoin. I've been saying it for a long time. I thought price was going to come up in here first before. But it's been trading softer, and all of the crypto's been trading softer. Ethereum trading much softer. Obviously, it's actually almost, see that same low right there on Bitcoin, and that came in. What was the day on that? Let's see if that's the same day. February 2nd. Might not be the same day. February 6th, though pretty close. 5th, 6th. Here's the 2nd, and then it was actually the 5th and 6th traded lower into it still, but same time frame pretty much. So this is much weaker. This is actually leading it. Bitcoin is slowly following, but you can see here it's this is going to get taken, I think, for sure. And one of the main reasons is because this is trading so much softer as well too. But there's these levels in here. See this small consolidation area right in here. I believe price, that'll be the draw on price, and that'll also take care of that low right there. Not quite that low, right about there. So that's 474 mark. I think that'll probably be next. I wouldn't want to sell it right here. I'd want to wait for a little bit of a retracement. We're actually kind of getting that right now. To be honest with you, I'd love to see it if it came up and it slammed into here. You see this small consolidation range back here, and then it's the old lows back in here. It might not even get up to there. It might even go, say, that old low right here, somewhere in there. If it traded up into there, that would be a beautiful spot to get short on there. Or you could even take a chance. It may be coming into an area where you could get short right here. They're not really giving anybody who is a long holder, like let's say for instance you went long right here, and they started to trade the market up, and then they just smashed it down and smashed it down. They're not really giving anybody a chance to get out of this thing. They've just been dropping this thing like a rock all Wednesday, and then just a short retrace here, and then another drop ensued. And I think, like I say again, this is going to be the next level right here. So whether or not it trades there on Tuesday, this was a pretty big range today. That was a 120 pip range on the day there. So if we did another range like that, that would put pretty close to these lows. It could stretch out and hit that low. But that's kind of what I'm looking at on this. So same thing, Bitcoin, I believe we are going lower. Again, want to wait for the retrace. That's kind of what I was looking at actually in here. I was looking at the market and analyzing it before the end, or right at the end of the trading day, New York trading day in the afternoon. And I was hoping to get a retrace back up to this level here, and I was going to issue a short trade. But again, same type of thing where they're just not letting anybody who's long on this thing get out of this thing. Or get any money back, or not letting anybody jump on the short train. They just keep dropping it and dropping it and dropping it. So if you can get in, you know, you could certainly look at this level in here if they trade price back up into it again, which they might not. They might just drop it off from here. But watch out, because they could do something like this too. This is kind of the weird thing about crypto, right? I mean, there's not always a rhyme or reason. Like this trading right here, you'd think, okay, so they're dropping price, dropping price, dropping price. I'll sell it right here. All right, they're slowly retracing. I'll sell it right here. Bam! They smash it up one more time, and then you think, oh, okay, well, I'll just sell it right here. And then they smash it up one more time to kind of no real logical area, right up here. Actually, somewhat technical logical area right in the middle of that consolidation range, and then they smashed it down. So kind of one of those things. If you're going to get in, you'd probably want to have a wide stop on it. But I believe, yeah, I don't see them necessarily. I had a level here that I figured they might want to bounce at, and then price just smashed right through that. So I'd be looking for a retrace and a short trade on this. So I'll watch this going forward. We could see higher prices, a little bit higher prices, but if price gets higher than this line right here, I would probably watch, definitely wait. You know, there's no rush on anything, but definitely wait and watch and see what it does. And if it moves, it'll probably be moving here in about the next 2 hours, if it does want to come up to here. And then hopefully we'll start to see some rejections at this level. So we can watch for that too. And so I'd say, you know, put out a trade right now and, you know, put a pending sell order in. But again, you could get a little bit of volatility and it could knock it higher. I just wouldn't know what a comfortable place would be to put the stop, because again, they didn't come back up to get this area in here, and they didn't come back up to get this area in here, or this one here, right? Or this one here. So technically, in my mind, all of these areas are potential targets for them to retrace higher to. You know, right? And Bitcoin is right. It's very unpredictable. I mean, you can see some wild swings on this, right? Wild swings. So you just never really know. But I think they've basically given up their, they've showed their hand essentially. And I think everybody knows now, you know, it's not going to come up and grab this yet, these highs up here yet. They're going to sink it lower. And the other thing you can look at too is, again, that whole symmetrical price swings. So there's symmetrical price swing number 1. And there is number 2. I don't necessarily want to take it off the lows there. So you can see price much lower down here, and we could even be challenging these lows down here. So watch for that. But yeah, I'm going to be watching that level right there. I'm going to put a price alert out on this level right there and see if potentially a price trades up to there, and see what the reaction is at that level. Get something, you know, ideally you get something like this where see it trades off like this nicely, slowly runs back, and wham, one wick up, and then trades softer, and then price never gets back above that wick again. That's what I'm looking for. So you can either go short there or get short up in here, which is basically the lows of the consolidation area you could get short at. Put your stop above it. Same type of idea. You know, get short if price stabs up here once. You can get short on it, put your stop above here, and then just watch price. If they have any willingness to get much higher than that initial first run, it's no good, so you want to bounce off of that trade, but that could be what you're looking for. So we'll watch for that. We had a nice S&P trade in here. I don't know if anybody got on it, but we got a nice 2-3 day range, 2-day range on this. We put out a signal. I can't remember when the signal was Monday or Tuesday. Basically price, I think it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah. Price hit up in here. No, I think it was Tuesday, early Tuesday morning or something. We put a sell signal on this, and we got a great range on this S&P trade. So hopefully you guys, part of the membership group, you took advantage of that trade signal, because that was a very, very large range. You know, one contract on that range there would have paid you over $500 or $600 on that move alone. So actually, I think it would have paid you more than that. And this is where we went short. You know what? I've got the trade right here. Let me just bring it up on the chart. Bring up my demo. 1 second here, guys. I just kind of want to show you just kind of what the potential would be for a trade like that. If I can find, there it is. There we go. So there was our short position right there, and you can see that was basically price wicking through, confirming it, and then after price closes down, this is what I say, the retest entry. So price closed down off of this here, retraced and retested the lows, and then that's the entry point, and then you get in. But anyway, that entry was 296, call it 300 basically. Yeah, so I mean, like I say, one contract on that, you know, that would have paid you over $300 profit. So lots of opportunity there to make some money. And that would have paid pretty much for half your year's fees with us. So anyway, that's the SPOOs. I think Dave is coming on tomorrow morning, actually, and he'll be running some analysis on the S&P market again at 9 o'clock. About 9:15 he usually shows up New York time tomorrow morning, so he's going to jump on there and he's going to be doing some live gold, S&P, and UJ trading with you guys. So he'll be looking at a couple of different markets with you guys. So if there's any more to come with the S&P, he'll be the one to hunt it out, and he'll let you know the next trade. But we were discussing it, and we do believe lower prices could ensue for the rest of the week, but we'll see how that one pans out. So we'll jump on his trade session tomorrow morning, and you can take part in that. That's pretty much about all I want to discuss. This is oil. Nothing going on in oil. Nothing to speak of. It's just a big wedge. Look at this. Trading in a monster consolidation. It's going to spring out, break one wave. The problem with oil is you get so many economic news indicators on this that really move price around quite a bit. There's a number of forces calling for oil to go higher in terms of not just fundamental but technical reasons as well too. And then there's a number of reasons more so, again, world politics, policies. You know, the U.S. is pumping a ton of oil on the market right now, weakening prices that could drive the price of oil lower. So I don't know if you guys are oil traders or not. There's definitely usually a closet oil trader in there somewhere. So there are definitely some levels, hint, 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 that I think price could reach for. I don't necessarily want to see oil go softer. I'm bullish oil, and I wouldn't be bullish oil until price. I would basically change my tune if price wanted to go through. See this consolidation area right here? Basically the levels that I just marked out on this chart right here. If these levels get broken, even these highs right here, I'm going to be very suspect. If these levels get broken and they close lower, then I'm going to turn my bullish long-term view on oil around, and we could be looking for lower prices from there. But I think there's a couple of levels in price up here. For instance, this 73 level that I think price is going to want to draw towards. Could take a while for it to get there, so it's definitely not going to happen overnight. I was hoping that this would have been the final run lower, and then we would have seen prices go back up to $70 again. Didn't happen. That not $70 again. Sorry, high 60s again. Didn't happen. It failed in here, and then again it's just been chopping sideways. So they could be wanting to just bring it down and just consolidate and build up some sentiment in here and under the market, drop it lower one more time, and then rip it higher, which you can kind of see what they're doing here. See these relatively not necessarily equal lows, but they're very close in their proximity. That's pretty close, right? You see that? See, I think they're kind of building up a bit of a floor, quote unquote, sentimental support level here. So everyone who's trading oil is sitting there thinking, well, this is support, this is support. They traded up, went weaker. Oh, support, support, support. Traded up, went weaker. Oh, support, support, support. Traded up, and so I think what they could do is actually see this small consolidation area right in here. I think what they could do is jam it down to this level one more time and then spring it higher. And it's more so right about here, the 59, I'd say even 59.20 level, somewhere right around there. They could jam it down one more time, wick, reject, and then we'd be seeing higher prices. So this trend line as well too, right? I'm sure a lot of people here are trading this trend line. See this, potential trend line right here. And they're just selling short, and yeah, that would have been right 1, 2, 3, 4 times here for some small ranges, which wouldn't have been bad at all. But I think the next range down, I think they're going to smash it higher, and I think this could be the catalyst right here. If price breaks this 59.20 level, 59 level basically, if price goes lower than 59, then I think, and much lower, then I think we'll be seeing lows under here, and potentially. These lows in here could be getting hit again, so we'll watch for that again. But price really hasn't been doing much, just been going straight sideways for about the past 2-3 weeks. Same thing as US dollar, same thing as most of the pairs. Euro USD sideways, pound USD sideways, Euro GBP massive sideways trend. The one that's actually really been trading nicely has been the yen. The UJ, sorry, where is it here? There we go. It was trading in this massive consolidation area, finally broke lower, and I think we're going to see much lower prices with this. But yeah, I think that this one here has been trading very nicely, and the same as the US CAD finally broke out of a nice range here and trading much higher. So I think we're going to see higher prices on the CAD, and I think we're going to see lower prices on the yen. And I think we're going to see eventually higher prices on crude oil. We'll have to see what happens there. So don't want to really talk about any other commodity tonight. There's really nothing that I was going through it earlier. Didn't really see anything that caught my eye. This one here was nice, but it didn't quite get down to my entry level, unfortunately. That happened a couple of days back there. A number of days back, actually. I didn't realize it was that far back. And prices just kind of been trading software. I know it was on cotton. Softer, not software, softer. Nothing much there I want to talk about. Sugar, OJ. I was looking for a trade on OJ on the daily. You can see here, but price is really starting to trade softer. And it came back, and it's now starting to trade through this line here. If price trades any lower than this, I'm going to be watching for a quick rejection, like a quick wick down, a rejection higher, and then potentially we could be getting long there. I kind of like this for a long, and only because they were trading up here, they brought all the way down, and then they traded higher and quickly traded higher in here, and then they've been trading softer ever since. I'm kind of waiting for it to come down to this area in here in order to get long. But I don't want to get trapped into a trade that just starts flying south, and I'd kind of be looking for price to come somewhere in and around this area right here. We'll see if that wants to get tagged in, and that would come in about 136, somewhere in around there. So we'll see what happens. Today wasn't much of an indicator, and you can see here you get these days that just wick up and then close down, wick up and close down. not great price trading, and you can see on the hourly, what that looks like, right? Not wonderful trading, just kind of popping up and then trading softer, popping up and trading softer. So we'll see what happens there. Dow Jones trading significantly lower than what the S&P was trading. SMT divergence, hint, hint. Dave will be talking about that tomorrow. That's about it. That's all I got for you guys, really. Again, I'll be looking for a couple of trades to come in here. I want to see if the Euro USD has any juice to drop lower and then trade higher. We'll be looking for higher prices. If it busts out of the small consolidation range, I'll be looking for the retrace back, retest, and then higher price. Same with the pound dollar. Looking at this here, yeah, I'd love it if they dropped it right down in this area. I might look for a buy, but again, none of the news is happening until much later into New York, so I probably won't see anything until about the 5 a.m. session. So we'll be looking at either the euro or the pound. One of the two will be doing it, and we'll have to wait and see which one will be the mover for the day. And Bitcoin I want to watch as well too, to see if we get this run up into this level here. So that's about it. Thanks for joining, guys. Remember, there is one more live session tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. Dave will get started trading the New York session. He'll be going through the S&P 500 gold and UJ pairs, and then Friday morning he'll be back one more time again doing the exact same thing. So that's going to wrap up the week for us there. Hopefully we'll have a couple more signals for you to come out in the next 6 to 7 hours from now. So watch your Telegram channel and for those to come out, and we will catch up to you first thing tomorrow morning. Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you then.